This is Aussie Mac Zone. We'll cover everything Apple, including Macs, iPhones, iPads, and more. All this from an Aussie perspective. Sit back, relax, and insert yourself into the zone. The Aussie Mac Zone.
Hi everybody, welcome to show 266, Aussie Mac Zone. We're lucky enough to have Garth. How are you?
You are lucky. Hello, how you going?
Very good, mate. Very good. Thank you for joining us again.
What I should say is I'm lucky to be here. Thanks, guys.
Yeah, that you definitely are. We're all lucky to be here at this point.
And that's Zarn, of course. Young Zarn, how are you?
Fantastic, gentlemen. I'm happy to be here.
And everyone knows we've just been having some audio challenges, so we'll keep going. So tonight we're brought to you by startnewcompany.com.au and athwebhosting.com.au. Now, Aussie Apple Ramblings, Story 1. This is important. iOS 12.1.1 update has caused some 4G issues. So Channel News reports Apple, who recently moved to beef up security on their iPhone and iPad, are now facing user backlash after their recent 12.1.1 upgrade caused major problems for Apple product owners, especially when they were connected to 4G networks. Apple customers are now being warned not to update their Apple products yet. Now, personally, I have not had an issue, and I have not heard anyone asking about I haven't had anyone say my phone's not working or anything. Anyone else?
No, I don't think I've updated though. I turned on the auto update thing.
Yeah.
And feel as though I don't have to worry about that anymore. So I'm not actually sure if my phone's updated or not.
Well, I've had an iPhone 5 for the last 2 weeks, so I don't know.
Yeah.
There's another story that we'll get to, I'm sure.
Yeah, but I got 12.1.1 and I haven't had an issue, so maybe it's just a US thing.
Elaborate on the issues. What are the issues people are having?
Data issues, basically. Now, sometimes it was just Apple products, sometimes it was third-party products, like Twitter and stuff wasn't working on data. They have to connect to Wi-Fi, little things like that. Or big things like that. Depends what.
So is this to do with the security upgrades have they tried to, because I know inherently mobile data is fairly sketchy from a security perspective, right?
Yeah. But they, no, because I think it's just sort of, it's happened on the weekend sort of thing. So no one's got around to checking anything.
Right. Okay.
Yeah, it's just lots of people complaining, but no one's actually found the answer yet.
That's the world as usual then. Okay.
Well, I didn't want to let you down before Christmas. Now, Apple hires CEO of prescription tracking startup Mango Health. Apple has hired the former CEO of medication tracking startup Mango Health, Jason Overfest, with the employment of the executive potentially indicating Apple wants to move its health and fitness related efforts into helping users manage their medication. So, yeah, well, anything that helps people get along easier, that's great. Making their life easier, especially when you're heading towards that dementia stage. Like seriously, anything that makes it easier.
They've made a lot of moves in this direction over the last few years, haven't they?
Yeah. Just quietly rolling along in the background, doing that, not doing anything, and then 18 months later, boom, something happens. Yeah.
Interesting to see if there is any integration with, how Australians are moving to electronic health records.
Yeah.
It being a mandatory thing, sort of thing.
Yeah.
If they're able to edge in on that in any way at all to help manage, to give consumers another way of managing that health data. Yeah,
well, anything, especially for the people that pull out but still want to have the information available, it'd be interesting to see what happens long term with the health issue. I've got a couple more stories about health in a minute, but a big thanks to our special guest last week, listener David. Now, anybody else wants to be on the show just as a guest like David, please contact Michael at aussiemaczone.com.au and we get you in and just have a chat. That's all we do is have a chat. So it's cool.
Nice job, David.
It was a great, actually, it was really good. He was lovely, and we had a laugh, and yeah.
So it was good. Yep. So anyone else wants to join in? It's not that hard. I promise it's not that hard.
Well, look at us. We can do it.
We can hardly function as human beings when we come on a podcast.
Yeah.
Well, sort of.
Now, an ECG feature in Apple Watch, which has only just been switched on, is already saving lives. Now, also from Apple Insider, the electrocardiogram function of the Series 4 went live as part of watchOS 5.1.2, released last Thursday, and is already proving its usefulness. A Reddit user identifies as Edentel wrote a post about their dealings with the Apple Watch Series 4 after running the update. Warned them abnormal heart rate in notifications. The user tried out the ECG app and was provided the AFib result. Initially, the user believed there was a glitch with the firmware, but after repeated tests came up AFib and trials with his wife's wrist came back with normal results, and after trying the other wrist and the other side of the arm, the warnings continued to be provided when the user tried out the app in other ways. Now, the Redditor writes that they went to hospital, to a doctor's, expecting to go home after potentially wasting the doctor's time. When asked what was wrong, Edentel was embarrassed to say, okay, so there's a new watch feature, before asking to check its results. The comment was a quick cue pass for the doctor. Apparently, the user hooked up for testing. The doctor looked at readings from the medical equipment and suggested you should buy Apple stock. This probably saved you. The doctor advised that they had read about the ECG features released the previous evening, and while they thought there would be an upswing of patients reacting to the messages, doctor didn't expect it first thing in the morning. Now, the Reddit user has reached out to Apple Insider since original publication and has provided sufficient evidence to prove the story true. Now, on a wider scale, it is highly likely the new ECG feature, as well as the irregular rhythm notification feature available in early watch models, will prompt concerned users to check their health via a physician. Apple Insider has reached out to several cardiologists in the Washington, D.C. metro area to talk about the update and the ECG feature. All the groups we spoke to have either confirmed a reading in the emergency room since release of the OS update as a result of the reading at home, or have seen patients in the office already as a result of the watch. So that's pretty cool. So thank you, Apple.
It really is, actually, yeah.
Yeah. Like, just days into it and it's already saving lives. But it's, forget everything else. That's important.
Yeah.
So now, startnewcompany.com.au. They've brought to you again this week. Thanks to these fellas. Now, they are a way of starting up your company. You log on, you fill out the needed paperwork, you get your all your documentation, you can make sure your name's right, you get your ACN sorted out, and away you go. It's amazing how simple it is. It doesn't take very long, and you don't have to do it in one stop. You can save it, go back to it, save it, go back to it. And then don't forget, you've got to do paperwork every year, and they help you with that as well. startnewcompany.com.au. And it's all from $575. It's only $575, not from $575. And very secure, available 24/7. You can wake up in the middle of the night, have that idea, start launching the company. And in Australia, something else I read today, in Australia we have a new patent law where you can, it's not quite as thorough, it only gives you 8 years to register, to lock in the patent, but it's like a technology type one for imaginative people like Garth. So
Imaginative, yeah. I imagine being imaginative.
So yeah, thank you, startnewcompany.com.au. Apple Music is coming to Amazon Echo. What the heck?
Cool.
As another indication of the warming relationship between Apple and Amazon, your Echo will soon play Apple Music. yeah, so we believe it's going to be a sort of fully embedded. Now I've forgotten the word they used now.
Skill.
Skill. Thank you. See, lack of skill here, skill on your side. Yeah, but
Yes.
yeah, we believe it's going to be an embedded skill as opposed to one that you'd have to go in and add all the time. But yeah,
This was a surprise, hey,
yes.
and a good surprise. I'm slightly more interested in an Alexa now, I must admit.
Yeah, well, they're all, they've started selling Apple product, or Apple's letting them sell product. Everything except the HomePod, I think, is on there now. So, yeah.
Which is still the speaker I want back.
You'll keep telling her. Open the door so she can hear you.
Yeah. Deaf ears in that direction, I reckon.
So, yeah. Yeah, there is not heaps of news this week. I think one thing that's not in the list here, but I'm a bit confused about, that the massive discounts in America for the iPhones, the latest iPhones, really big discounts.
Are there?
Yeah, but not in Australia. They're not the Black Friday or Cyber Monday discounts. They've still got them. Big trade-in discounts if you trade in a iPhone 7 or whatever. But yeah, not in Australia, but considerable, a couple of $100 off, that sort of thing.
What's driving it in the US?
Don't know whether it's something to do with the Chinese trade wars or perceived lack of sales or known lack of sales or whatever. Don't know. But you go to the apple.com website as opposed to /au, and it comes up iPhone. All the iPhones are on special. So I don't know what's going on there.
Can you buy one from the US and just get it shipped?
Possibly, because I think we use the same. You can't do that for the Chinese ones because they use different frequencies. But the American ones were probably the same. But, yeah.
So, given the whole lack of news, what about the new laws?
Oh, yes. Yeah, that's good. Thank you for bringing that up. That's right. How are they going? Like, does that mean Apple are going to stop selling product in Australia?
Seems pretty unlikely.
I know, and are they going to pass? Like, are they really?
I don't understand how it's supposed to work at all.
A back door is for everybody.
Yeah, I mean, they're not asking for a back door, right? They're asking for a front door, blah, blah, whatever. It just doesn't make any sense, though.
No.
Like, so with iMessages, specifically, with iMessages in iCloud, does that mean that if they have because at the moment you can get, Apple will provide an iCloud backup to law enforcement.
Yeah.
Right? What they were making a big fuss, what they weren't prepared to do was crack a particular, a phone, right?
Yeah.
Give access to the handset itself. However, we have access already to the iCloud backup. Given the appropriate court order, here's the backup.
Yes.
Will that then mean that that's all they need to do to satisfy that law?
That still doesn't give them access to, because they want the encrypted messages, don't they? And iMessages in the backup are encrypted, as far as I know.
Yeah, I just don't know how that aspect works. So
there's probably call history that they can get for the court order, not only from Apple, but to every carrier till they work out which one's got that. With that.
They
phone.
can certainly, the call history is fine anyway. But the content of the iMessages, what exists within a iCloud backup. So, given that if you have username and password to an account, which is effectively what they, you have access to download those messages. Like if I log into if I log in from a new device to to iMessages, can I see all my existing iMessages?
From a new device.
No.
I believe it's all there, isn't it?
No. I just had to use an iPhone 5 because mine died. And none of my old messages were there. It really didn't even bring my numbers over until a little bit later, but I just think that was because of the iPhone 5s are a little bit slower, that's all.
Yeah. Have you got iCloud messages turned on?
Yep.
So I wonder, okay. And what about all the other apps like WhatsApp and every other app?
A few of these aren't encrypted, but like I don't know about
most of them are nowadays though. Yeah. Most of them supply end-to-end encryption. Threema, WhatsApp.
Yeah, because some guy in the States got caught out with that. So when Apple turned over his details and they were managed to trace it through, I thought it was WhatsApp.
Yeah. But
yeah, I honestly, how they enforce it, to what point they enforce it, because or do they just say, all right, Apple, like what phone doesn't have encryption on it anymore?
Yeah, it doesn't make any sense. Like, what do you actually expect?
Yeah. I suppose if maybe they've got, they can put, there's a computer, run that encryption, keep knocking it out until they can get the key, like if it takes 128 days, here's your 128 days in jail while you're waiting to see, oh no, he was going to the fish shop, not the fraud shop. Sorry.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, maybe that's what they're hoping to get. I don't know. And they can't say, well, everything's got to be unencrypted because that's just not acceptable anymore.
The easiest way around this is to just buy a burner phone. Like, the easiest way around it is to buy a burner phone. You buy a burner phone, you send whatever you want, and then you throw it away. Like,
yeah, but in Australia, you still your information is still on that SIM, isn't it?
Is it like?
Yeah. Well, at least I know who it is and what that phone's sending messages. So he's, whereas other places, there. But yeah, it'll be interesting. Be interesting to see what happens. I've got another little story in a minute about some investigation. So now the next one, as I said, not lots of stories. Apple's iPhone XR clear case finally launches. So there's a clear iPhone case you can get now for the XR. It's $65 Australian. There's another one that's not an Apple one. The Apple one's totally clear. The third-party one has got some patent on the back of it. Still see-through, but it's got patent on the back of it. It was $60. So if you want to enjoy your colours, because that's why I'm buying the XR, to enjoy our colours, that's why we've got a clear case to go with it.
Oh, that makes sense.
Now, here we go. ACCC cracks down on Google and Facebook. And again, from Channel News, following reports this weekend that Facebook and Google are facing increased regulatory control regarding their marketing and advertising practices, the ACCC has released their preliminary report into the tech giants' marketing and influencing power. Now, the ACCC has concluded that search giant behemoth Google has substantial market power in online search advertising, and news referral. And Facebook, as the major social media platform, has substantial influence in, guess what, social media and display advertising. Now, the market influence is unavoidable for businesses in Australia, and while they perform a crucial role in furthering businesses' successes and reach to customers, the operation of the platform's algorithms is not clear at all, according to ACCC Chair Rod Sims. Furthermore, the consumer watchdog is concerned with the amount of consumer data both platforms collect on their users. In particular, the ambiguity and complex nature of the online terms of service and privacy policies, including click-wrap agreements with take-it-or-leave-it terms, is the way that they've described it. Now, the ACCC's preliminary view is that Google and Facebook have the potential to create echo chambers or filter bubbles where consumers only hear the news they prefer, even if it isn't the most accurate or correct. And just to give you one idea about advertising money, newspapers back in about, I think it was 2006, had about $2 billion worth of advertising, and they reckon they're down to about $200 million now in advertising for newspapers.
So what's that mean? That means they're going somewhere else for their advertising.
Yeah, and because Google and Facebook are so cheap,
yeah,
but you don't necessarily get one of the other parts of the story is you're not guaranteed to go to the demographic you're expecting to go to. You know, like when you sign up for TV between 6 and 8, you know, roughly the sort of demographic you're getting.
Yep.
Whereas when you're with Google, you're not necessarily getting any of your demographic when you're paying for your advertising.
Yeah.
Because they just put the ads up. They don't necessarily say, all right, these are targeted for 18 to 24-year-olds, blah, blah, blah. So.
Yeah. Makes sense.
Who just reached their stand goal?
Oh, I did? Oh, that was my move goal.
Your move goal.
Yeah.
He's moved 3 times today.
Yeah. I've exceeded my move goal. Now, again, this week, athwebhosting.com.au. Thanks to the boys at ATH Web Hosting, you've got very simple, easy to understand, easy to set up, the industry standard cPanel, all those scripts you want to install, the apps. WordPress, for example, just click it, bang, there you go. You're up to date, and away you go. A lot more control. The new way of setting up your web pages, you can have, you know, like these days it's got to be able to be looked on your iPhone Max, your iPhone R,
Your Apple Watch,
your iPhone 5, yeah, your watch in some cases these days. Yeah, all there, athwebhosting.com.au, and all from $5.95 per month when paid annually. And be amazed at how easy it is.
Hey, that's right. They're a great company.
Yeah. Now, Apple's $29 iPhone battery replacement program ends December 31. Get in and get it while you can. That's, you know, that's all I can say. Get in.
Absolutely.
$29 battery?
An iPhone 6 just waiting to be done.
Yeah.
I think mine just got done.
Just got done. Zarn's just got done. That's right.
Finally.
Please.
I was meant to do it, but yes.
Please get in and get it done. Because otherwise you're looking at $69 at least for an iPhone battery.
If not more, I would have thought, yeah.
Yeah. So that might be 69 US now that I think about it.
I think, yeah, 29 to 69. We're looking at, what is it, about 49, 39 here?
Yeah.
Up to closer to 100, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
So get in and get it while you can, please.
Yep.
Now, also, I brought up a podcast, mentioned a podcast last week that I'd heard of, that I just read about that afternoon, called Forgotten Australia.
Yeah.
Okay.
It is really good, really good. I've listened to the first 3 episodes. It's by a guy in Katoomba up here. They go for about 45 minutes. Excellent. Really like history, getting, you know, going way back, you know, 100 years back, history that you that's why it's forgotten, because most of people aren't around.
Fantastic.
And it's really good, really interesting.
Is it local history as well? Like, is it Blue Mountains, Western Sydney region?
The first one was about a nurse just at the end of the First World War, when Australia got Spanish flu.
Yep.
And like the first case was a soldier that had come back from overseas and then came from Melbourne up to Sydney.
Yep.
He was the first case. There were boats coming in where they would just, they'd come in with a yellow flag, which meant there were people on board that were contaminated. So everybody on the boat had to stay on the boat. And this is when they were using Sydney's North Head area as a containment area. And that's the hospitals up there. And it's just something to think about is Spanish flu, to take, you could be sick, you could be fine this afternoon and be dead in the morning for some people, or you could be, to take a couple of weeks for you just to keep going downhill. Whereas, and that way, if you're on a boat coming back, coming from overseas, coming from New Zealand or whatever, it gave an opportunity for people on the boat to get sick or show their illnesses. That's why the boats come in with the yellow flag. And they're concerned about these days is a person could get crook and fly around the world and go to, infect someone getting off at Dubai and infect someone getting off in Germany and then flying over to England.
You're infected.
And boom. Because we're talking like more people in all the worlds died of this Spanish flu outbreak around the world.
It's crazy.
Like, it's amazing. And then the second episode was about the riots in Melbourne, similar to what's actually happening in France at the moment, very similar to that. When the police went on strike down there and why they went on strike and how they found out only by the Royal Commission afterwards that the police commissioner effectively agreed to the terms. So the police could have gone back to work and but no one somehow got notified that the commissioner had agreed to the terms. So the strike went on, and then all this fighting started and just went downhill. And the third one was about
more of that everywhere. By the way, like the French government had stuffed them around for a long time, and they did what they did. It's the bad part was that they striked, and there was a lot of sort of crime.
But what's the point of yes, I can complain to the government as much as I like. I don't go out and break windows or turn people's cars over.
Absolutely, that's what I'm talking about. That was just a shame that the crime happened.
Yeah.
But, the government needs to start listening to
but that defeats the whole purpose of the discussion.
Fair enough.
Once the crime starts, you've lost the fight.
Yeah, I agree.
But yeah, the third one was about the first recorded mass shooting in Australia. And why it happened, how it happened, all that sort of story. So that was interesting too.
Yeah,
Again, it happened just not long after the police riots in Melbourne, a couple of months. But yeah, so.
Well, while we're talking about podcasts, I'll just quickly bring up a couple of little tiny stories. There's an iOS app it's a watch app called Outcast by an Australian developer. Outcast, recently got chapter support for Apple Watch, which is kind of pretty cool.
Yeah.
I haven't got any AirPods at the moment to enjoy podcasts from my Apple Watch, but still cool.
You're not having a big audio year, are you?
No. Anyway. And the other, it's good to see the Australian developed Procreate being named one of the apps of the year by Apple.
Yes, yeah. And talking of Procreate, there was a really good interview with the founder of Procreate on Rene Ritchie's Vector podcast. Yeah.
Yep. Okay.
It went for about 3/4 of an hour. It was really good. It was good hearing an Aussie voice and
yes.
Yeah, and the few funny stories that go along with that. So
very good.
Yes.
On that news too, on that news front, did we all hear what happened to Tumblr?
Been kicked off the store, awaiting cleanup.
That's right.
Yeah.
So they've been kicked off the stores, waiting to clean up. Everyone's sort of sick of the adult content, and there was some, for less of a bit of a word, child porn come through that, that they just did not clean up at all. They didn't take it down, and they got busted for it. And so now everyone's like, right, unless you clean your act up, then you're not worth downloading.
And what I heard a ABC interview where part of it was talking about Tumblr the other day, yesterday, I think, one of the news shows yesterday, and but they were saying because now basically Tumblr started by taking all adult, not only the kids' bad stuff, but all adult content off.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
That now they're saying, but that stops other sections that use the adult content for their own personal pleasures, blah, blah, blah. So they should be allowed on. But then they were talking about, using AI to find the difference between one sort of porn and another sort of porn. It's not that easy. So
no.
Yeah. But then, people don't want other people see, I send Garth my nude picture again. I don't necessarily want Zarn seeing it.
Absolutely not.
Or the Tumblr.
That glory is only for me. Come on.
That's right. Yeah. or the Tumblrs.
Might just make myself sick here.
Yeah. The Tumblr. There's got to be someone looking at it. If the AI is not good enough, someone's got to look at every picture. So how would you like that job, to sit there and just look at it all day? Boom.
Look, if someone's going to do it, I'll take it.
It's not easy.
All right, fine.
It really isn't an easy problem.
I'm sure the pay's going to be good. So
I think it'd be like working in an ice cream shop. You'd soon be sick of ice cream.
That's right. Yeah, you're just going to swipe left, swipe right, swipe left. Yeah, we do it for 1 cent.
I'd only be able to swipe left.
I don't even know which is the good way, right or left. I don't even know which way to swipe.
That's the advantage of being ambidextrous. Whichever way I swipe, I'm handy. Yeah, so I've run out of things to say now.
I think
before
on
I
that
get
note,
into trouble. Yeah.
I think on that note, we draw a line under this.
Yep. So don't forget, this week, you can go to Spotify, search for Aussie Max Zone. The show notes are on the uploads, just aussiemaxzone.com.au, and you'll find the news section there. Thanks to our sponsors this week being startnewcompany.com.au and athwebhosting.com.au. Thank you very much, Garth.
Thank you, boys, for having me.
Thanks, Garth.
Now, don't forget, thank you to our most important people, our listeners. Excellent. Over to you, Zarn.
Oh, yeah. Thanks to listeners. Thanks to sponsors. Thanks, Garth. It's always great to have you. And what was I going to say? Oh, that's right. Garth is in
Don't pretend you don't remember. Come on, don't pretend you don't remember.
An apple a day keeps the androids away. Thanks, guys. Bye.
Yes, it does. Yes, it does.